What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Let Me Finish. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like the content that we put out. Hit the bell so you know whenever we post a video. Like the videos if you like the videos, and comment if you don't like the videos because we love the conversation, as some of y'all have already found out. Today we're going to be talking about, should the Chargers trade their entire draft just to get a top flight QB prospect. Alex, what do you think?
So, as there is always reports around draft time about who teams want and who they don't want and how much of it is smoke and how much of it is fire, if the Chargers, I'm assuming that they want Burrow or Tua. And I don't know that Cincinnati would trade their pick for anything, but if they think that whoever they want, be it Herbert, be it Tua, isn't going to be there at 6, then I would say yes, because this roster is really good, right? Like, defensively, you have Derwin James, you have Hayward, you have Harris in your secondary, you have Ingram and Bosa on the edge, you have Keenan Allen on offense, you have Mike Williams, you have Hunter Henry, you even have Austin Eckler, who's a nice out of the receiver, out of the back. And then they traded Okun for a guard, and they went and signed Bulaga at tackle. So their offensive line is probably going to be better. I don't know that it's going to be great, but it'll be better next year. And an interesting thing about the Chargers is, I looked this up on Over the Cap. They are projected right now to have about $128 million in cap room next year. Now, that's in part because Bosa, Allen, Ingram, I'm not mistaken, Mike Williams is on his fifth-year option. Hunter Henry has been franchised. So all those guys are on expiring contracts. Here's the thing. If you have a rookie quarterback, it's the best deal in all of sports if he's awesome. And so going into the next year, like, they would be able to, Tyrod Taylor is costing them about $7.5 million this year. That's about what Tua or Herbert would cost them next year, going into free agency on their rookie deals, which obviously, if they're awesome, is the best deal in sports, right? Like Mahomes with the Chiefs right now. Yep. Like Carson Wentz in his second year before he got hurt. So they would actually still be able to sign Bosa and Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry all to the top of their market. Not that I think Allen or Henry would necessarily be worth the top of their market or be able to demand it, but they could do all of it and still have their QB and still have like $60 million in cap space. Like, and Eckler's already locked up. And so, like, they could still have plenty of flexibility. Whereas if they want to compete next year and they have to go and hope to sign or trade for a high-priced quarterback, it hurts some of their cap flexibility and being able to keep all of their really talented players. So, yeah, I think their number one goal in this draft should be to get whoever they think can be the quarterback of the future. And if you have to trade up, even if it is your entire draft, for a Tua or a Herbert, all the draft projection people that I've read, which is mostly PFF, like Tua a lot. They don't like Herbert a lot. So I don't know that trading up for Herbert is worth it. But if you, in your, as the Chargers in your own evaluation, say, oh, no, Herbert's going to be a star, then, yeah, go get him if you don't think he's going to be there at 6. If you think he's going to be there at 6, then by all means, wait till 6, keep all your draft picks. But if you don't, this team is in some ways kind of ready-made to compete almost right now, right away. Go get your quarterback. And since he's on the rookie deal, he's going to be cheap. You're going to be able to keep all your players.
I like all of what you said. I want to kind of get into the worth of a QB a little bit here, because you said the best deal in sports is the rookie quarterback. And I want to talk about last year, if the Chargers didn't have the Jameis Winston of the West Coast, then they would have been competing for at least top 4, top 3 in the AFC, I believe.
Yeah, guys, we're 2 years removed from them going 12-4, and essentially giving the division to the Chiefs away.
As I was saying, Because you're talking about trading up to get the quarterback of their dreams, which I think they should also do, and I'm going to highlight why. So let's say they decided to go on the free agent market and pay for somebody who's a free agent versus trading their draft away to get their dream quarterback who doesn't have a track record in the NFL yet. In the NFL, you are better off busting on 2 quarterbacks in the draft before finding the third one 3 years in a row than signing and busting 1 free agent quarterback
Oh,
in the NFL.
oh
So
yeah,
like the
because you're gonna have to
reward
pay the
for
free agent.
taking this risk is exponentially greater than if they were to do anything else with their quarterback situation. So I totally agree with trading up as much as you need to get the quarterback you think, because even if they bust, then you still have cap flexibility and you just move on. It's like a
Yeah,
scratch
no,
off your back.
yeah. If so, like Chicago kind of found themselves in this situation. Like if you're just in a general principle, if you don't have the guy that you think is the quarterback of is a franchise quarterback, like you should just like keep taking shots at quarterback in the draft. And
Yeah.
maybe you don't necessarily keep taking first round or second round draft picks, but like third, fourth, fifth, like just keep taking shots at it because you'll never know when you hit. And I'm not suggesting that they trade any like future draft picks necessarily to go up, but this entire draft, yeah, like there is no situation where if you draft a guy that is the next great quarterback that you've lost the trade. Like it just doesn't happen. Like the team would have to basically hit. The only way for you to lose that trade is if the other team takes your draft picks and finds also the next great quarterback and hits on a bunch of the draft picks as well. Like there's just that's not the case. Like that's how valuable the QB is. And so if you don't have one, like keep taking shots, but also on anyway. And like if Chicago had just been after 2 or 3 years of Mitchell Trubisky just been like, you know what? He's not the guy. It's not worth,
That's the caveat. You have
then
to be able to admit that you were wrong in this situation
right,
and
then
get rid of Mitch Trubisky ASAP, or you're
what?
gonna
So that's the thing.
scrub
Like
it up while he's
uh,
there.
so that's
Chicago.
so that's kind of the thing about like it's like scrub it up like well or it's like get rid of him like sure like you know what he is like he's a slightly expensive backup but you could have like Chicago specifically this year like they could have gotten Newton. They went and got Nick Foles because that's so much better. I cannot stand that dude has made yeah, never mind.
It's like the
No.
Paul Pierce of the NFL.
I think Paul Pierce was a little bit better, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, no one's gotten more play out of one Finals MVP than Paul Pierce has. But regardless of which, like specifically with Chicago, like they could have gone Cam. I don't know that necessarily Bridgewater is great. He doesn't have the strongest arm, and they play in Chicago, and they got to go play outdoors in windy cities like Green Bay and all that. But like
That was a good pun.
they've taken on a ton of Nick Foles' contract, or at least some of it. Maybe not a ton of it. I think it's Jaguars. But regardless of which, yeah, if you're willing to admit your mistake, then what you have maybe a slightly expensive but not terribly expensive backup quarterback that's been in your system obviously for 2 or 3 years in your rookie quarterback, and then you go and you find a Bridgewater or someone like that can be a stopgap for a year or two, or you just take the fact that Mitchell Trubisky isn't good and that your team isn't good, and you take whatever draft pick you get and you go draft another quarterback as it is. Like, just it does not kill you in the same way that it used to because of the rookie wage scale. If you're willing to admit, this wasn't the guy, we're just going to move on. And we're just going to start looking for the next quarterback again. Well, that, and if you don't trade 2 first-round picks when you don't have the right quarterback for a defensive star.
Well, that was everything that we thought about this draft and what the Chargers should do about it. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to talk about it, use your keyboard skills. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and we're out.